Next up, we have another panel discussion, this time with a brief introduction. The topic will be blockchain impact, NFT use cases, and the benefits of digital identities for valuables. And at first, I'd like to welcome also the chair and the moderator of the following panel, Carla Bünger from Core Technologies on the stage. The stage is yours, Carla. Welcome.
So, hello, everyone. Thank you for still being here. I'm actually feeling a little bit bad after this fantastic presentation from Susanne because she brought 7 use cases. I just brought 1. So bear with me, it's not that intense, but it's a very relevant one also for NFT technology and what NFT can do for today's life without us noticing that we are using blockchain technology. So my company, Core Technologies, has had the benefit of building strategic partnerships with IBM, which brought us to build our own infrastructure, which we operate today. And this actually triggered for us the fact that we are building blockchain solutions really at scale. So we serve large corporates who need very intensive resources and need a high level of transaction capacity. And this actually brought us to focus on these kind of clients. Now, we have been around since 2018 and started, of course, with creating tokens in the financial industry. But something caught our attention in the last 2 years, and this is what I would like to present to you today. So, Core Technologies today is basically tokenizing in different fields. It's always the same technology, but it's different use cases. And while in the financial industry, we would tokenize rather commodities, real estate, and of course, bonds and equity, we would tendentially use fungible tokens. But what caught our attention in the last 2 years was actually the second product that we have developed, which we call LuxID, and it's actually using NFT technology to create digital authenticity certificates for valuables such as watches or jewelry, cars, of course also handbags, whatever could be interesting to resell in a secondary market. Then, of course, if you tokenize a valuable in this way, you're not far away from tokenizing identities, and it's actually, again, the same process from a technological perspective, it's just a different use case. So the interesting thing is how technology can bring so many different applications. And now I would like to deep dive into LuxID, which I said, basically the luxury industry is focusing more and more to use blockchain technology to create these digital identities for valuable. It's a little bit like a passport for your valuable, and you can display the whole life cycle of the product inside the NFT, which makes the valuable more valuable long-term, because you can see the whole history whenever it was changing ownership, whenever it has been repaired, whenever it has been, refurnished or refurbished or whatever. Why do luxury industry brands focus on this? There are 3 topics. One is provenance, the second is transparency, and the third is ownership. So today, there are so many fake watches especially, but also fake products in general. In the watch industry, we're talking about 40 million fake watches versus a much smaller amount of real ones. So the idea is that when you buy your watch today, you will get an NFT which represents the passport of the valuable. And whenever you would resell your watch, you would also transfer the token. It's a little bit similar than what my colleague this morning has presented regarding BMW. It's the same principle. Ownership. There are only 5% of all the watches who are reported stolen are recovered. 5%. What happens to the other 95%? If we have this digital passport for a valuable, the 95% of stolen watches become almost unsellable on a secondary market. And this really solves a big problem. And then transparency, we are all talking about circularity, sustainability, and many people are open to not buy new products, but buy pre-owned products. And through this kind of digital passport, you create transparency so that on the secondary market you are sure to buy the real thing and not something that is something else. So above all of this, the really interesting part for a brand is that through an NFT, the brand can talk directly to the end consumer, irrespective of whether this person has bought directly from the brand or through an intermediary. And this possibility to connect and communicate directly with the end consumer gives new opportunities in marketing, new opportunities to create loyalty programs, and new opportunities to create a community around the brand. So it's a very simple use case, but really relevant in today's world. In essence, whenever a client buys a product, a valuable, he claims through a branded user flow the token to his wallet. This wallet is provided by our company, but it's completely branded, so the end client doesn't really know that he's using blockchain technology, and he doesn't know that we are the technology provider for this. So this is completely inside the brand spectrum and happens very fluidly. If you should lose your watch, if you should want to gift your watch to somebody else, if you should have a stolen watch, you can change the status of your token. Basically, you can report it stolen, and then the watch becomes unsellable on a secondary market. And on the other hand, you have a stronger claim towards your insurance company, because you can say, look, here's my NFT, it's stolen, please now pay out. If you would want to gift the watch, you would transfer the token. All of this is part of the user flow. On the other hand, the brand has a centralized system. The NFTs are created within the manufacturing process of the good, often integrated into their ERP system like SAP. So we're talking again not about creating one single token at a time, but creating these NFTs at a large scale. Now, all these corporate clients that we have, they want to use blockchain technology, but they don't want to have the hassle with it. So they don't care about gas fees, they don't want to manage wallets, they don't want to deal with congestion, they don't want to have the risk that they potentially have an outage. Somehow it... outage? I don't know, it doesn't click anymore. I didn't... Oh, okay. Is that my time is up? So they don't want to deal with all of this. Maybe it works if I... No, it's not me. So we have created our own blockchain consensus mechanism and a layer 2 blockchain. In essence, because these large corporates, they want to have very high throughput, they want to have certified solutions, and they want to be sure that this is a longevity solution. And so basically what our company is providing is blockchain as a service. Whenever a large corporate comes and says, I want to implement this kind of project, the whole blockchain thing comes with it automatically without the fact that the client has to deal with all these elements of gas fees and congestion and so on. So this is actually a... Do you think it works now? Oh. It's a proof of authority blockchain that is mainly dealt by authorities in Switzerland. There are 12 authorities, and due to the fact that all these authorities are known, it's actually DLT law compliant. So it's a very interesting solution. It doesn't cost much, and it's a solution for corporates to move forward in this space. It was not triggered by the fact that we wanted to do this, it was just simply client demand that made us develop this kind of solution. So now you know how we implemented this NFT solution for one of our clients, and it is my big pleasure to hand over to the panel now and to ask different, my dear panelists to join me here on the stage. I don't see them anymore. Yes, they're here. Please join me. Very good. Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. So I shared one of the use cases, but all these people have more use cases to share. And it is my pleasure to introduce them, all of you. No, I think you're going to introduce yourself. Please, Alex, would you like to start?
I would like the ladies.
Okay, ladies first. Annette, please.
Here. Yes, thank you. So I'm art historian with expertise in technology-based art. So I still have my art agency consulting company, ICAA. But in 2014, I co-founded the Germany's first ever digital art fair, Unpainted. But to be honest, so since 2020, I'm really overwhelmed by the long-awaited breakthrough of blockchain and the possibilities of the decentralized future. And so since that, I'm working cross industries in the field of Web3, metaverse and NFTs. And so I'm a founding partner of X-Circle. X-Circle is a curated platform that combines in real life and virtual environments and selling crypto art on digital walls. Then I'm member of the advisory board of XR Explorer Schools that redesign school lessons with XR technologies. Then I'm in the advisory board of Ava. Ava is a digital influencer that you can book. And yeah, I really enjoy my education is the key right now. Yeah, I really enjoy my educational mandate as lecturer at the Ludwig University in Ludwig Maximilians University in Munich, and as a keynote speaker and author in the field of metaverse, NFT, and Zeitgeist. Yeah, so pass the ball back.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, pleased to meet you all. Thanks, Carla, for organizing the panel. And yeah, my name is Alex Schlicher. I'm 46. I'm born and raised in Frankfurt and used to work in classical industries such as consulting and derivatives trading. So I would say classical financial investing was my large parts of my life for over 20 years. And I stopped that 2.5, 3 years ago because I was really sick with it, and I was actually needed a break and take care of the family, but also dedicate time to innovation and new things. And I was fascinated about the blockchain narrative, obviously. I think that applies to most of you here. And thought about, I was really puzzled why there was no real use cases outside of financial services and logistics. And when I Googled blockchain and sports, you could not find anything. And it's hard to believe now, but 2019, there was nothing to be found. So I'm the founder and CEO of Fancy. We founded the company in 2020. We are nearly 20 people now. Just closed a seed round, over 3 million US 3 months ago. So that was actually very lucky and happy for us because 2022 turned out differently than originally planned. What we do as a product, we create, so listening to Susanne was interesting because there's so many use cases. We have very specific products, very narrow. Once you get it, we clone real-world items. So we believe in the storytelling of real-world stuff, which could be the Mario Götze boot. He used to shoot us to become world champion in 2014, which is a non-scalable item. And we scale this stuff. We create digital clones. And we believe in the emotion transported through objects, but that could be anything from microphones of Jay-Z or historic art. And like that, we transport the real stuff in a 3D format into everyone's pocket, but also in digital frames at home. And of course, 3D objects are the pointer into using them in games, using them in the metaverse, which is of course future commercialization. But I'd say at the moment it's very haptical. And actually, we also do 3D printing, so we can print the stuff, which looks very fancy. And yeah, that's what we do. So.
Alex, do you like to show the picture today?
Oh, that's my presentation. I didn't know. Okay, so just jump. You just go ahead. One more. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah, send it in. I didn't know if we can show it, but that's basically what we do. We take a real-world item. This is who is that? Bernardo, I think. So one of the Man City players. We take the boot. We create a clone. Because again, we believe this is something that fans really adore. You never get as close. You see grass, blood, sweat, tear. I mean, basically you see a lot. And this is very emotional. And in sports, it's funny because these items also embody emotion. It's not just the object, but they embody emotion, which you can, then if you think about what people use in games, I mean, if you are a digital owner of that digital asset, you can replicate that very emotion, which I think for sport fans is super iconic. So you buy it, and you can also order a 3D print if you have the right rarity, because this is, at the moment, at least for us, not scalable. So thank you very much.
Great. Timo, I think you have already had a big speech before. Maybe would like to summarize in three, 4, 5 sentences about you.
Yeah, I can.
For people who just joined.
I can keep it short. So I'm a lawyer, so most people should know what lawyers do. I'm in the crypto space since 2016, so we have seen it all from the ICOs to the STOs, now the NFTs, and that's basically what we do and what we advise and what we love. So happy to be part of your panel.
Every bubble. Good. Pedro, please, you have joined us from Geneva.
Yep.
Introduce yourself.
So my name is Pedro López del Monte. Very happy to be here, and thank you very much for organizing this. I'm responsible for Web3 and technology innovation at Richemont Group. Richemont Group is a luxury conglomerate. You're probably more familiar with some of our brands, like Montblanc, Alain Gensone, Cartier, Piaget, etc. And yeah, I work there since 4 years and a half, defining the blockchain strategy. Blockchain is a key technology for us, and we are very fortunate to have partnered with Core as in such a strategic topic. And essentially, very happy to be here. I enjoy innovation. I enjoy dealing and speaking with smart people, so it's a pleasure to be today with all these smart colleagues and entrepreneurs that foster ideas. And last but not least, in my daily task, one of the things I enjoy the most is speaking with our lawyers. Very, very interesting conversations there, believe it or not. Thank you.
So thank you, Pedro. The Richemont Group was actually the first client we had on the digital certificate product that I introduced to you before. And it's a very quite big milestone that the product is actually live with their first brand since January this year, including in China. That was quite a headache. So thank you for being here to share your experiences with us. Please, not Alex, sorry, Jan, please, you have a very interesting company that is in the intersection between the financial world and the luxury world. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. Hi everyone, I'm Jan, I'm one of the co-founders of Timeless. With Timeless, what we do is we democratize collectible investments. Ultimately, we came to the idea as for 50 to 60 years, just very rich people could invest into collectibles. And mostly due to the fact that people don't have access to certain deals, they don't have the expertise to look into it, and don't have enough capital to pretty much diversify in the right way. And that's what we're doing with Timeless. We are now live for 18 months. We have fractionalized close to 300 collectibles right now, mainly in the German-speaking market. And yeah, looking forward to this discussion.
Yeah, quite a big, successful company already. Very good. Let's start the panel. My first question would be to you, Annette. You are an expert when it comes to digitizing art and digital art in itself. You have really followed very closely how digital art has come to be and what the impact was of blockchain technology on art. Now, when we first discussed to prepare this panel, you like to highlight that you talk about evolution rather than a revolution. And you point out that there's a whole ecosystem that needs to be built around it until this really can go mainstream. Can you explain a little bit what the benefits are of NFTs, especially in the art world that you see already today, and where you might see this in the future, where this is going?
Yeah, sure. So the interesting thing about art is that it's reflecting always new technologies and new worldviews in time. So digital art exists since the first computers were switched on, since the 1960s. So it's nothing new. So, and when we did the art fair in 2014, it was already the time when we discussed with artists how they can unikize and monetize their digital files. Yeah, and it was also 2014 when the first art NFT was minted, the Quantum NFT by Kevin McCoy. And yeah, so this means NFT is not new art, it's a medium, yeah? This is why I say it's more an evolution than a revolution. And NFTs, for me, is an extension of art, yeah? And you can do so many things. It's not just a JPEG, it's always combined with a smart contract. And if you look, for example, at royalties, yeah, so royalties is a really game changer for the art world. So think about that, for example, all the Picasso heritages could get 10% automatically in their wallet in secondary market sales. Yeah, this is huge. This is really revolutionary also for artists. And yeah, and then the peer-to-peer system for artists is also quite a big thing, so that they can get in contact with art collectors without intermediaries. Yeah, so it's all about access in the art to get access in the art world, and then of course in terms of the ecosystem. If you, as a gallery, first of all, you can use an NFT as a digital certificate, not only for digital goods, but also for analog works. And as a gallery, you can use the NFT to document an ecosystem around a work or maybe around an artist. You can document the provenance. You can also document the exhibition history, the restorer reports, and all these things. And last but not least, what Jan does also, it's very interesting to fractionize art pieces, especially in times of inflation. Blue chip art is always a good investment. Yeah. So, and I like the idea that many people can buy an artwork and share the profit. And last but not least, there's the possibility to really address a new generation. And I always say it's the generation readiness that is really, that grew up with new technologies, also with XR technologies, and they are used to work with this.
Wow, that was quite a lot to take in. Let me see if I got this. So I provenance, life cycle of the art piece, then investment, fractionalization, and then addressing new target audiences or like new generations.
It's a glimpse of what you can do with an NFT.
Quite a lot we can achieve. Pedro, you are having a similar horizon with the luxury industry. I mean, there are similarities. Can you maybe explain a little bit more why this is so relevant for the luxury industry and what's the common denominator with the art industry?
Well, I think for us it's very relevant because first it helps us to tackle a huge problem you have already mentioned, counterfeits. It helps us also to tackle another huge problem, not particular from our industry, but for everyone, which is sustainability. And another problem that we are having with Web 2.0, which is privacy, right? Privacy understood as the right to your own data, to manage your own data, right? So it's very important. I think the industry is very privileged in the sense that on one side we are not extremely regulated, like other industries such as pharma and so on, but we are in a special position because a lot is expected from us, and this gives us the chance to explore more freely, but at the same time to be bolder and to to somehow lead the way. If we think that our first digital certificate that the customer was able to claim, the first NFT, happened more than 3 years ago, it's already an achievement, right? I don't think every industry can say that, and the similarities I see with art is actually that on one side the provenance, the fact that we are able to guarantee and to provide a guarantee over the provenance of a product. When we speak about these products, they are unique products with a lot of work behind, with a lot of design, and sometimes some artistry percentage out of that. So that is very important. The other topic that I think it's for now overlooked, and I understand because it's probably more difficult to tackle. Tokenized object is somehow easy, let's say like that. It's the easy part, but the other point is identity, right? It's okay that we tokenize objects, but you said before, what about ownership? And when we start thinking about ownership of physical products, of jewels, watches, of art, even of virtual products, a lot of things start to surface. Right, ownership comes along with privacy, comes along with some rights. It impacts the history of a product that might be remarkable or interesting for future owners. So it's a huge topic, and it's very exciting.
The ownership topic is definitely something we need to take a look at, and this will come right after, but I would like to give the word to Jan. So your company is not really dealing with NFTs today, but rather like fungible tokens where you fractionalize very beautiful masterpieces. Do you think you can build on that NFT technology that comes up in art as well as in valuables? Is there something you can build on?
Yes. First of all, what we have also done is we fractionalized NFTs, so Bored Apes, so on and so forth. So we have done that. And what we're doing right now is pretty much we take the object, we make a digital twin, we pretty much put all the certificates next to it, and pretty much how many investors are there. I think for us it was very clear at the real beginning, looking into what the industry does, so on and so forth, that you have to build a product that a normal person understands, that really gets traction, and pretty much then understand what kind of technology you can build on top of that and what's enough to have the first step. Because also that's what we saw from 2018, 2019, 2020, a lot of people with really great ideas, but most of the time it's not a lot of traction. Like in this room, like a lot of people know these products, but out there, if you go into Frankfurt or Berlin and ask someone on the street, a lot of people are not adopting. And these were one of the things that we wanted to tackle on the one side, to have a product that has a good UX UI. It's very easy to understand. I always say my dad should understand it. And then pretty much build on the backbone of what you can do with blockchain, because our model would not be possible the way it is right now without blockchain. But ultimately building products that everyone can use and not just a small portion of early believers and progressive people who have a MetaMask.
Agreed. I think education is something we all share in this room. All of us do education around us, and this is definitely something we need to do more in order to get to mass adoption. But one possibility of mass adoption is actually sports, and this is where we come to Alex. So your use case that you demonstrated before is very different. You actually take a physical piece, create NFTs out of it, several, if I got this right. And you let like a target audience of fans participate in a very emotional moment and have this as a collectible. And basically your clients are rather like really big sports clubs and sports stars and other creators of collectibles. And then you kind of provide the platform to then sell the NFTs. Can you talk a little bit more what this is all about and what really is the key element to succeed?
Sure. By the way, I have a lot of admiration for all the projects we have around here, because I think they help to bring it out there, bring it to the retail space, and also bring it to the Web 2 industry, classical companies. At the moment, there's still a lot of experimenting. But, you know, our mandate is, you know, Jan is doing the investment part, so he always, I mean, what he sells is you own a real piece of the real item, just a small bit, because you can't afford the entire one. And we look at it from a different perspective. We come from what drives fans, and could be not just sports. 5 minutes. So I would just take 2 minutes of those 5. We believe emotions drive a lot. Emotions are across cultures, across religions, across languages. You could be a fan of Lionel Messi and live in every part of the world. And the stuff that these people create, I mean, why do they have hundreds of millions of followers on social media? Because people love what they do, they love to see them. And we have created just a very small product, although it's technically extremely complex. And we use NFTs, and I really hate the word NFTs, but we use blockchain to make it digitally authentic. So if you are a fan, you want to know that you get the real deal. You want to know that this really comes from them. They might exist in tens and hundreds and thousands, so it's not really about having ownership of the real item, but making it digitally authentic. And why is that? I mean, I really truly believe that the metaverse, 3D spaces, 3D chat rooms, 3D video rooms, or 3D, you know, experiences will be the future, more for our kids than for ourselves. I have 2 kids. You know, they're in the, 12, 14. I mean, they spend, I'd say, most of the day in front of a screen. And that's the reality of things. And all Web 2 brands, they're facing this reality. So creating digitally authentic experiences in 3D, I'm a big believer of 3D, is, we think, the future. So the emotional connect to digital authenticity is key. And yeah, it's called blockchain. At some point, it will just become common technology. And I agree, you said that minting is the easy part. I mean, 2 years ago, minting was the tough part. I mean, no one could mint, no one had an engine, no one had an idea. Now we have some regulation, some framework. So we're very slowly getting there, and it'll become just a commodity.
Now, perfect. Exactly the word I needed, regulation. Timo, please, we've looked at your presentation before, and we understood that also projects that are absolutely not in the financial space will be regulated somehow. And when I talked to Annette, she complained that even for art, she has to KYC every person, and that this is not how it used to be. Would you like to explain a little bit what we have to expect as entrepreneurs in this space, and what we have to get up to?
Yes, thanks. I think there's 2 things we need to look at. One is the regulation we would like to see, yeah? So what is really helping the market? Because I think if you talk about NFTs and you have the NFT platforms, most people, they don't even know what they're buying, yeah? Because we have, at least in Germany, and I think it's in most European countries, there's no civil law or even like ownership law for how this works. So we need better standards. Some jurisdictions did, like Liechtenstein and Switzerland, they're a little bit further ahead. But in Germany, it's a black hole. Yeah, you don't know what you get, and it's super complicated. So I think that's a regulation in terms of civil law coding we would like to see. We need it. In terms of supervisory regulation, I think there's a little bit too much, and there's still too many questions open. For example, we still have no real clear view about how NFTs are regulated, if they're out, if they're in. So Mika tried to solve it, but they're still like, yeah, if it is not fractionalized, okay, that's something we know what it is, but then there's also if it is not part of a, let's say, large collection. And so we're still not sure, okay, what's a large collection? And then there's also the question, okay, and it shouldn't be a financial instrument. Then, of course, it is not in the MiCA, but it is something different. So I think legal certainty would be really helpful to get from the supervisors. And we had a discussion in the Bundestag 2 weeks ago at a round table, and some participants said, okay, we need also NFTs to be regulated because we don't know really what is beneath the NFT. So where are the assets, what's the pricing of the assets, and that all needs to be regulated, like the derivatives we had and the items which caused the subprime crisis. I would say actually the difference, if you do it right with the NFTs, we have the verification and we have the right data in the NFT, so maybe the NFT can actually help to avoid regulation, right?
Maybe it can. I think we all agree it's not a revolution, it's an evolution, small steps at a time. And unfortunately, our time is over. I have at least 10 more questions for you guys. I think we underestimated the slot we got. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights. It was a pleasure to host this panel, and I hope it was interesting for you as well. And with this, I'm handing over